All right, all right, all right. So welcome to the NIL Playbook. How smart athletes are building exposure, offers, and income. Welcome all. I see you guys going live in the chat right now. If you are in the chat, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. How are you? Hey, anything in the chat. I got a welcome. I got a yo, coach, I'm here. What's up, Cam? Yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, Anaya, what's up? Joshua, let's go. So, look, what's going on, everybody? Athletes, parents, coaches. I'm Coach Spree, and I'm glad you all are here tonight. But let me make something very clear before we get started, right out of the gate. This is not your typical webinar. This is not one of those sit back and take a few notes and forget about it tomorrow type of calls. And this definitely is not one of those fake motivational Zooms where everybody talks big but nothing actually happens, right? Tonight is active, tonight is real, and tonight athletes are actually being selected. So now listen carefully on this. Our NIL reps, Jada and Siobhan, who are on tonight, they are actively working with businesses and building real NIL opportunities for athletes right now. Not 6 months down the road, not maybe someday, but right now. Those of you that aren't NIL ready, they'll help you get ready, right? There's no better time to get ready than now. But here's the catch. If you're not on the NIL athlete evaluation report known as the AER, you cannot be selected tonight. So if you're on tonight and you hadn't filled out the AER, get it done, right? Get it done right now so you can be hopefully chosen, right? And I'll say it again for the people in the back row that are on their TikTok scrolling while this is going on. I want you to pay attention because if you're not on the NIL athlete evaluation report, you can't be selected tonight. That report is how they evaluate athletes, identify branding potential, determine readiness, and fast track athletes into their NIL opportunity system. While this webinar is going on, reports are literally coming in. You'll see me check my laptop down here below for those reports that are coming in. So if you're not on the report, for the last time, get on the report. If you're serious about making money, if you're serious about building your brand, if you're serious about building your exposure, right? As a matter of fact, at random points during this webinar, I may stop everything, start announcing athletes who are being selected, spotlighted, or moving forward into opportunities. So yes, this is information and we want you to hear it, but this is also movement, right? This is action, this is positioning. And some of you tonight are going to separate yourselves from every other athlete sitting around waiting to be discovered, because the athletes that move first usually get seen first. So lock in, take notes, stay engaged in the chat. We'll open up the floor for questions at the end. So save your questions at the end of the presentation. So if you're locked in right now, send me some emojis, send me some, I'm locked in, coach, send them. Come on with them. Come on with them. I have some, where's the report? Glad you asked that. All right. So look at the ticker at the bottom, nilathletereport.com. That's how you get on the report. You can simply do that on your phone or a laptop on the side and get that done ASAP. All right, we got emojis coming in. We got them coming in. Love it, love it, love it. Jessica, all right. All right, yeah, Joshua. Okay, so enough of me because I'm not here to tell you anything about NIL. Jada and Siobhan, who are directors of strategic partnerships with the Pro 7 Sports Group, will, right? So Jada, Siobhan, floor is yours.
Thank you, Coach Spree, for that wonderful, wonderful introduction. As he said, my name is Siobhan Roxborough. I'm an NIL agent here at Pro 7. I'm excited to work with you guys. I'm excited for you guys to get some of these nuggets that we have. And without further ado, Jada, I'll hand it over to you.
Sorry, my mic was muted. Thank you, Siobhan.
That's
But
all right. You're just too excited. That's all. You're too excited. You forgot to turn your mic on.
thank you, Siobhan. Yes, guys, my name is Jada, and I am, like Siobhan, an NIL agent, or what we call a strategic director of partnerships for Pro7. And I want everybody on this call to really pay attention today because specifically about NIL, there's a lot of outdated information on it, and that misinformation is costing athletes like you guys opportunities. And if you've ever thought, I'm too small, or I don't have enough followers, or I don't have enough authors yet, I'm too this, I'm too that, then this webinar is especially for you. So, Siobhan, let's get into it. Next, please. So before we get into strategy, opportunities, and really anything else, I want to start off with what the foundation of NIL actually is. And NIL stands for name, image, and likeness, which I'm sure you guys already know, but your name is your identity, your reputation, and what people know you for, your image being your literal physical appearance, meaning your face and how you show up visually, and your likeness is your personality or how people perceive you and your brand and your presence. So in simple terms, NIL is just this, getting paid for who you are. And with that being said, this hasn't always been the case. And before 2021, college athletes could not make any money off of their name, image, or likeness because the NCAA had very strict rules that were basically prevented athletes from earning anything, even if they were generating a lot of value. And this turning point came from a Supreme Court case called NCAA versus Alston, where the court ruled that some of these restrictions were unconstitutional. And then in July 1st, 2021, NIL officially became allowed nationwide after this case was tried in court. And this shift really happened for two main reasons. One, the first being fairness. These athletes were literally generating billions of dollars for schools and organizations, but they couldn't earn any money for themselves. And the second was the rise of social media, where athletes started to become brands of their own outside from the sport that they played, outside of from their school. So today, NIL is really a marketplace. Athletes are no longer just athletes, but they're brands and businesses within their own right. And you'll, in the NIL world, you'll also hear about something called collectives. And collectives are donor-funded groups that help connect athletes with NIL opportunities and support them in building their brand. And I say also to say that this space has really evolved a lot. It's structured, it's competitive, and it's growing. And with that being said, I want you guys to understand who exactly can benefit from NIL. College athletes generally have the most access to opportunities because they have larger platforms. They have built-in audiences from the fans and the students of their school. But they have larger platforms, built-in audiences and things like that, and they have access to their school resources. But high school athletes are a little bit different because not every state allows high school athletes to do NIL, and the rules really depend on where you live. But in states where it is allowed, high school athletes, like the ones on this call, can start building their brand early, work with local businesses, and grow their social media presence before college. And even if you're in a state where you can't earn yet, you can still prepare, which is honestly, if not more important. And honestly, one of the first steps you can take during this webinar now to get your brand going is to fill out the athlete evaluation report so we can help you start to build your brand before college. Next, please. And before I go any further, I want to clear up some of the biggest misconceptions about NIL because, like I said at the beginning, NIL has some of the most outdated information around it that's costing people like you guys opportunities. And one of the biggest ones is that NIL is pay for play. And this is just simply not true. You cannot be paid based on your performance stats or your playing time because this is illegal. Another misconception is you have to be famous to make money. And this is also false. Let me ask you guys something. Would a local business rather pay a celebrity who has no connection to their personal brand or community, or an athlete that people in the community actually know and trust? Most NIL deals actually involve athletes of the latter with smaller, more engaged audiences because local businesses care more about trust and connection than anybody's follower count. And realistically, it's literally also more affordable. A brand can work with multiple smaller athletes instead of spending their entire budget on one singular brand name. So in many cases, smaller athletes are actually more valuable because they're relatable and connected to their audience. Another big misconception is that only football and basketball players can do NIL. And again, this is simply not true. And this is probably the one that frustrates me the most because athletes across all sports, track, volleyball, baseball, softball, are getting deals literally every single day. And I'm seeing it every day. And every sport has value if you position it the right way. Another misconception is that only D1 athletes can get NIL deals. This is another one that's simply not true. Another one being NIL is just social media posts. And this isn't completely untrue because social media is a big part of it, but it's not the only part. And NIL can include camps and training sessions, appearances, public speaking, brand partnerships. And I say all this to say just that there is multiple ways for an athlete to create value. And the last misconception that I want to touch on is that more followers automatically means more money. And this is not always the case because 10,000 random followers is not necessarily more valuable than 2,000 engaged local supporters. And what really matters in this NIL landscape and NIL world is engagement and audience fit, not just numbers. So overall, the biggest thing to understand here is that NIL is about value and not fame. Next, please. And I do want to touch briefly on compliance because this is really important. And trust me, guys, I know compliance isn't the most exciting topic in the world, but trust me, this is the stuff that will keep you guys eligible to play. So it's important that we all understand this because it's another thing that will cost you guys opportunities. But compliance just means following the rules so that you stay eligible to play. And those rules can come from the NCAA for college athletes, at least, your school's athletic department, and your state laws, especially for high school athletes. And a few core rules to know is that first is disclosure is really important. You have to report NIL deals to your school. Second, no pay for play. Again, this is legal and you cannot be paid for performance in games. And the third thing is school branding. You typically should not use school logos, uniforms, or facilities in any NIL content, at least without permission. And so while NIL gives you opportunities, it also comes with a lot of responsibility that we are here to help you understand. Me and Siobhan as NIL agents for Pro 7 are well-versed in everything you guys need to know about compliance. And, I can't sit here and talk about compliance because if I did, I would be doing so for like an hour. But yeah, that's what we're here to help you with. It's all confusing stuff, but fortunately we know and can help you guys. Next, please. And so now that we understand what NIL is at its core, I want to make this real by walking through a few examples, because a lot of times when people hear NIL, they think about top athletes, big schools, and big deals, but that's not how it actually works for most people. So let's start with an example of a hypothetical high school athlete. This is a junior varsity level athlete. They don't have any college offers, at least not yet. And they have a smaller following, maybe 500 to 2,000 followers, and they're mainly known within their school and local community. And in this scenario, this athlete isn't getting much recruiting attention yet, but what they do have is something really important, like I've emphasized this whole time, a local engaged audience. And that audience might be classmates, teammates, friends and family, people in their community who already know and support them. And this is actually where most high school NIL opportunities come from. Because at the high school level, NIL is not driven by these big national brands. It's driven by local businesses and community relationships. So instead of thinking about mega huge endorsement deals, you should be thinking about what's directly around you. So even though this athlete doesn't have offers yet, they still have real opportunities because their value isn't derived from their rankings or exposure, but it's coming from their connection to their community. And at this stage, the focus really isn't on making a lot of money, but it's about building a foundation, which is going to look like posting consistently, showing your training, your highlights, your lifestyle, anything that's important to you, because ultimately what we want to show is you being authentic and appropriate in what you share and creating an identity online so that people understand who you are off of first glance. And the opportunities at this level are usually local, things like partnering with the local gym, working with local restaurants, collaborating with small clothing or lifestyle brands. And it's probably going to be small payments, but it's going to be you're going to have an ongoing relationship with that local business. And just to really drive this all home, at the high school level, NIL is driven by relevance and not size. Local businesses are not looking for celebrities. They're looking for athletes like you that your community recognizes and trusts. So even if you guys don't have offers yet, even if your following isn't huge, you do still have something valuable. Each and every one of you have something valuable. You just have to learn how to use it. And this is what we are here to help you do with our services at Pro 7. And that's exactly, again, why we want you guys to fill out the athlete evaluation report, because we can't help position you correctly if we don't understand where you currently are as an athlete and a brand. That form is going to help us understand you guys. But after the high school example, I want to focus on a college example. And to really show what that looks like in practice, I want to walk through a real example from a woman named Nicole Webb and her partnership with Shack Oyster Bar. But Nicole Webb was a gymnast at North Carolina State, and she wasn't a huge name. She didn't have a massive following, and she wasn't in the national spotlight. But contrary to what you guys might think, this is exactly why the partnership worked. Shuck and Shack was a local seafood restaurant, and they ran a campaign that basically intentionally focused on college athletes with smaller followings being under 5,000 followers. And they called this approach the hometown heroes approach. So instead of going after the biggest athletes that they could find, they chose athletes who were known and trusted within their local communities. And in this partnership, Nicole, the gymnast, created content, promoted the restaurant, and engaged with her audience in a way that felt natural to her life as a college athlete. And this was more than just a one-time post, but it was an ongoing relationship where she consistently represented the brand to her community. And in return, she was compensated through paid posts, free products, and a continued partnership with the brand that elevated her personal brand as a gymnast. And this is the key point, that Shuck and Shack didn't go after the biggest athlete that they could find. They went after athletes like Nicole on purpose because those athletes offer the things that I've been emphasizing: trust, relatability, and a direct connection to a specific audience. And this hometown hero approach has been growing, and it shows us something really important. Even if you're not a starter, even if you're not the face of your program and your following isn't huge, there is still big opportunity for you. But that opportunity doesn't necessarily come from being the biggest in the room. It comes from being visible, consistent, and relatable. And the one last thing I want to say about this is that these deals may not and will not be worth thousands of dollars right away. But this is how NIL actually works for most athletes, and opportunities will start small, but you can build trust with brands and stay consistent. If you can build trust with brands and stay consistent, those opportunities will grow in time, in both monetary value and in frequency. Next.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jada. I will continue from here. I hope you guys are paying attention and catching this information that we're relaying to you. Specifically, the fact that all of these misconceptions about NIL, you guys can be chosen and we can absolutely help you. Again, if you guys could just fill out that AER form, we can get you right in, and then that way you can also get chosen. But the next thing we'll talk about is building a marketable athlete, right? It's not going to be, we got to be consistent here. We got to work for it. It's not going to be, like Jada said, easy money. It needs to be consistency. So what we're doing is we're, again, building a marketable athlete. What I want you guys to understand is that for the majority, it is about your social media. It's a lot about your social media. For an example, point of view, you're looking to connect with an athlete, looking to connect with someone. What is the first thing you guys do, right? Drop it in the chat. What is the first thing you guys do?
Come on, who knows the answer to that?
If not, I'll tell you. You guys look at the social media, right? You guys look at their social media. That's the first thing you do. You search them up online. So I want you guys to think of your social media as if it's your digital resume. It shows your sport. It shows your morals. It shows your values. It shows your personality. It's also an indirect link to your stats and achievements and etc. But a little bit of a nugget here as well, guys. Digital resume is not just that. It also includes who you interact with, what you comment on, what posts you're tagged in, what you repost. It shows what you're about. So what are brands actually looking for? Like Jada was touching on, they're looking for authenticity. Again, brands don't want celebrities anymore. We're well past that age. They're looking for they're looking for real athletes who have real stories. They're looking for athletes who have had real hardships, someone who would actually use the product. So for an example, you can ask yourself when you're, looking for an NIL deal, would you use this product? NIL brands are also looking for followers. Yes, that is also a very big component. They increase your visibility. They give you a larger platform to tell your story. They help brands see your potential reach. And they also show that you have influence and credibility. But of course, followers aren't the only story. Followers are still very important. It gives a degree of credibility for brands, and they need exposure, but a tight community beats a quiet audience. Again, we know in this age that you can just buy followers, right? So a tight audience beats a quiet audience. They're also looking for consistency and ability to create content, right? This is social media. This is the day and age of social media. If you post once every 2 weeks, brands will hesitate. But your consistency, posting every day, your consistency shows your worth ethic, your resume. And this just means, your regular content. We want to see clear effort, reliability, consistency, and trust. And again, this is what we're here for. We can help you with that.
So hold on real quick. I just want to say. Didn't mean to interrupt you there,
Okay.
Siobhan. You're definitely hitting some real facts there. But for years, college sports they've made millions and billions of dollars off of dreams, talent, sacrifice, hard work of young student athletes. Stadiums got built, TV deals got signed, jerseys got sold, entire programs became powerhouses because athletes chasing an opportunity. The simple thing of an athlete chasing their dream or opportunity. And honestly, it's past due for athletes themselves to finally get their portion
100%.
of that opportunity they helped create. You all have helped and will help create. That's why I'm excited, watching these reports roll in now. So I had one come in, and ladies, you may know this name, Caleb Johnson. We got you. He's one of our athletes who's going to play Division I football at UTEP, and can't wait to see what comes his way when it comes to NILs. So let me run through a few names just so you guys know what we're looking at here. And Blake, I see you. Blake jumped in, got his AER in at 709. Blake, I see you. But I want to go ahead right now, Siobhan and Jada, I want to go ahead and acknowledge some spotlight winners, right? These spotlight winners, what we'll do is at the end of this show, we're going to reach out to you and we're going to spotlight you. So it's all about exposure, spotlighting, building your brand is all under one umbrella. So we're going to spotlight you in a number of ways and bring you on to the College Recruiting Unlocked podcast show as well. So those names are, I don't have any drums where I give you a good old drum roll or anything like that, but
I tried.
Let's see. So I have, and look, and before I start saying names, I just want to make one thing clear. I am not great with pronouncing names, okay? So if I butcher it, trust me, we'll get it right before we spotlight you. We won't spotlight you with the way I pronounce your name. You have all the right to correct me when it's time. But I have Brianna from Kansas. Brianna from Kansas, you are a spotlight athlete that we will spotlight real soon. So we'll reach out to you. The next one I have is Pearson. Pearson is a young lady that plays flag football. She's from North Carolina. Pearson, you have been spotlighted. We will reach out to you as well. And this last one, Ava, I don't want to give your last name a try. I barely want to pronounce my own last name at times. But Ava from New York, you have been spotlighted as well. So we will reach out to you. We have all of your information. We'll reach out to you and tell you what we need from you and what that spotlight means for you as far as exposure is concerned. So I sit back and I'm listening. I'm putting my listening ears back on, Siobhan. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Coach Espree. Well, congratulations to those athletes. I hope the athletes who may not have gotten selected, I hope that just gets you even more excited for the opportunities that lay ahead for you. Without further ado, again, let's continue. So again, what are brands looking for? They are looking for usable content, right? We can't, again, in this day and age, we need decent lighting. We need basic editing. None of this proper and poor quality. Brands want something that they can repost, right? And something that they can put on their own page. Brands are also looking for a clear clean personal brand. Ask yourself, what do you stand for? And I'll just pause. Just think about it. What do you stand for? Be consistent with your niche. Is your niche faith, work ethic, leadership, humor, personality, lifestyle? Before any deal, brands will check your page. Your page may also need a good cleaning. Remember when I was talking about your social resume also including what you post, what you repost, right? So maybe it's time to clear out those old tweets or kind of tone down the language and maybe also tone down the behavior. We don't need to be canceled in 2026. We do not. Now, I'm not saying you guys need to be perfect. You guys just need to be safe to partner with. And brands are also looking for a story. A story sells. A story sells more than stats. Who are you? Who do you want to be? Are you the underdog? Are you the comeback kid? Are you disciplined? What is your background? What is your background? What is your story? Next, they are looking for an audience fit, right? Oil can't match with oil. Oil can't match with water. Oil needs to match with oil, right? So brands are going to care about who follows you. Remember, it's not all about just the followers. It's about who follows you. Is your audience consistent with your brand identity? Local audience equals local deals. Fitness audience, gym supplement deals, right? You get the picture. They're looking for also reliability and communication. This is and guys catch this. This is where most athletes will lose deals. You guys need to be able to respond on time, follow instructions, and deliver what you promised. And again, this is something that we can help with. Being easy to work with is a competitive advantage. Mm-hmm. And absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, right? And so brands are also looking for long-term potential. This isn't your celebrity that does one post off or one post off UGC create. No, the brands are looking for, they're not just thinking about today. They're asking, can we grow with this person? Can we build with them? They want partners, not one post influencers. Just like Jada said, this is how, brands are this is how we're able to partner, right? Because brands, one, can save money, and two, you can partner with them as well and get money yourself. Now we're going to go into NIL marketing risks, big no-nos, common mistakes that athletes make online. But before I get into that, who is catching this? I want to see some emojis in the chat really, really quickly.
Oh yeah, who's catching it? I know I have some outfielders on this call too. So who's catching this?
Awesome, guys. This is great. So, big NIL no-nos. Number one, inconsistent content. And that means in two different ways, right? A lot of athletes and a lot of just people post to just post. Remember what we were talking about? Talking about a clear and consistent brand. So random gym clips, random posts on, about something, whatever. Basically, there's no backing to it. There's no story, there's no message, there's no consistency. And on the other end of that, and in the side of inconsistency, just not posting consistently, right? Posting heavily for a week and then disappearing for 3. There's no rhythm, there's no schedule. Inconsistency kills growth and trust. Also, coaches, which I know you guys want to be able to be recruited and whatnot, coaches and brands cannot understand who you are when you're inconsistent. Another one, overposting or emotional reactions or inappropriate content. We're talking arguments, rants, again, inappropriate content, complaining about playing time. Guys, big no, no. The problem is that it raises red flags for brands and coaches. They're asking themselves, can we trust this person? Can we trust this athlete? Are they mature? Next, we're going to go into NIL and recruiting connection. So NIL is, again, more than just, post for post. NIL helps you drive into so many different avenues and so many different opportunities. For an example, like Jada said, NIL is just not social media. It is also, you can do brand events, you can do speaking engagements, community partnerships, and media appearances. Exposure creates opportunity, and opportunity compounds. NIL also builds credibility with coaches. A strong presence can help you get noticed by programs and staff across the country. It shows your personality. It shows your maturity, like we were talking about. It also shows leadership. Coaches and brands and recruiters notice that athletes can take ownership of who they are and their brand. And this includes creating content, building relationships, and showing consistency. Because initiative is a competitive advantage. This is why NIL can separate you from the competition. Say, you're not the best football player or you're not the fastest. Coaches don't just recruit talent, they recruit people, right? Who is going to drive their team culture at the end of the day? A strong presence can help you get noticed by programs and staff all the time, everywhere across the country. I'm telling you guys, and I want you guys to I'm emphasizing that because it's also very important. And in other words, right, because the goal, right, is also to be recruited, right? Coaches discover you faster. When you consistently post, share your journey, and build your brand, you increase the chances of being seen by coaches like the National Collegiate Athletic Association, right? Your content, I want you guys to think of your content like, yes, a resume, but also like a 24/7 highlight reel. It also shows coaches who you are. It shows brands who you are. Recruiting just isn't about stats anymore. I can't stress that enough. NIL content gives coaches insight into your work ethic, your personality, your character, communication skills. Do you have the potential to be their next team captain? Think about it, guys. The more intentional your brand is, the easier it is for coaches, brands to find and remember you. NIL opens doors that, again, athletics may not alone. NIL bridges that opportunity to create relationships and opportunities that stats alone can't. A lot of athletes, and I'm sure this is what you guys think, is that, oh yeah, once I get offers, followers will come, or once I go viral, then brands will notice me or coaches will notice me, or once I become a starter, NIL will start. No, guys. The reality, it works in reverse. Coaches, brands, and opportunities tend to move forward with athletes who already communicate well, post consistency, look organized, engage with people, and show identity beyond sports. So, guys, here is the reality check here. Now that we've talked about NIL, talking about the misconceptions and building yourself as a marketable athlete, and we've talked about what is possible, it's important to ground this into reality. A lot of athletes have the wrong expectations about how exposure, recruiting, and opportunities actually happen, right? Most athletes are still in their early recruiting stages. The majority of athletes are not highly recruited yet, right? Most are not being actively contacted by sports. Most do not have large platforms or built-in visibility. This is important because what this means is that you guys are not behind, okay? You guys are in the same position as most athletes. With that being said, it's important to make one thing clear. Waiting to be discovered anymore, it's not a strategy in this time. The market is too saturated. Exposure is no longer automatic. You guys need to work for it. Coaches are not seeing every athlete. Posting a highlight tape and waiting, it's not enough anymore. In today's environment, right, there's too much competition, too much content overload. Athletes who are passive, I'm telling you, they will get overlooked. Well, what does this mean? Being talented is not enough on its own anymore. Being visible and intentional and talented is what matters. Being visible and intentional matters just as much. I will now hand it over to Jada again.
Okay, yes. To piggyback, thank you, Siobhan. To piggyback off of everything she just said, to drive everything home in this like reality check of this all, I just want to say that at the end of the day, athletes have to take control of their own exposure. You and nobody else but you is responsible for how you are seen. Your social media is literally your first impression, and your content determines whether people notice you or not. And, you know, we're all young. We all use social media every single day, and think about it. What actually, as a consumer, as a phone user, what actually makes you stop and pay attention to an athlete? That's the same standard that brands and other consumers are using when they look at you. And taking control looks like posting consistently, showing both your sport and your personality, and making it easy for people to understand who you are off the bat, because your brand is you. This is literally your name, image, and likeness. It's not just logos or aesthetics. It's how you present yourself, what you post, how you communicate, what you stand for. And this matters because, as me and Siobhan have been saying, exposure creates opportunity, and opportunity will compound and build over time. So the athletes who start early have an advantage, not just in NIL, but in recruiting and in long-term professional opportunities in life and everything. So the biggest takeaway is this: that the athletes who wait in this will fall behind, and athletes who take control of their life and other opportunities will get those opportunities. And you can't wait to be discovered. You have to position yourself to be seen. And that's exactly what we're here to do. Next.
Awesome. So what's your next move? I like that. I like that slide. Look, so we definitely have some questions coming in, which is good. I like that. So let's get some of these questions answered. So I've kind of answered one through comments, and the question was, what type of brand, we're talking about? It's all brands. And we even, Siobhan and Jada, what they do is they help brands that have never dove into the NIL world, help create a package for them for our athletes. So it's all brands across the board, for sure. Let's see. What if you're an international student? Either one of you want to take that answer? What if you're an international student?
Yeah, I can take that. So with international athletes, it varies, right? Because the most important thing you want is to protect your visa status, right? So just like state by state, that can also state by state, it can vary. Usually, NIL athletes who are in college, usually they're able to make something work. Jada, did you want to add something?
No, I was going to say what you're saying state by state. It's also country by country.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Gotcha.
We can't go in and say country by country or whatever. But again, signing up with our services at Pro7 that's something that we will help you guys get into the nitty gritty of, because it's literally, it would depend on the country and the state.
100%.
Of the school itself. Yeah.
So another question, and I can help answer this question because it's a twofold. It's recruiting side and NIL, but they ask, playing a single sport a disadvantage or advantage or neither? Well, there's a lot of things that weigh in on this. When you start to talk about NIL, it could be a huge advantage for you, a multiple sport athlete. Now, if we're talking high school, junior, senior year, that's a little bit different. If you're going to a college and you're participating in track and football, let's say, all right, totally different, but huge advantage on the college level, not a disadvantage at any point, at any point. When it comes to recruiting, definitely not a disadvantage. So hopefully I answered that question for you. Let's see what else we have here. What's the first step I need to take in building my brand?
I'll take this one, but first of all, the first step is filling out the athlete the athlete evaluation report. Second step being that it's honestly honesty. You need to be honest with yourself about what it is that you value and what you want to represent. This doesn't have to, I know that's like a really grandiose sentence and it's like, oh, who am I? Like, what do I want to represent? It doesn't have to be all of that, but just being honest with yourself about what's important to you and what you want to showcase to the world. It doesn't have to be performative. It doesn't have to be fake, but a brand is just you and what you want to represent yourself as. So it really just, the first step that you need to take to getting there is just being honest with yourself about what it is that's important to you, what you want to encourage in other people, and what you want to put on the internet.
Awesome. Awesome. Anything to add there, Siobhan?
Be honest. Yeah, that's the main thing. I'm trying to see if I can add anything.
Definitely be honest. We have
Be
to do
honest
that
is
across
the
the
main
board.
thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So I have another for you. It says, can NIL deals stack? Can they stack?
Yep.
Absolutely they can.
Yep.
As high as you can stack them. But yeah, they absolutely can stack. Let's see.
Yeah, I want to take the follow-up question to the whole building brand thing that was just asked. So once I build my brand, I can continue this through college and beyond. And yes, absolutely. I see it every day. I think that is one of the best, something that we didn't touch on in this call, but that really is one of the best benefits and privileges that you guys have as being athletes who have access to NIL, because as Coach Esprit touched on, but your access to NIL is a privilege that athletes before you did not have. And it wasn't fair that these athletes could generate billions and millions of dollars for these schools and not receive anything in return. Like, it's really an act of justice that you guys have access to the value that your name, image, and likeness creates for yourself. And it's more than just like NIL, and doing NIL, getting NIL deals is not just to grow your Instagram followers or whatever. It's to build yourself a career outside of your sport, so that when you're done playing your sport or you have something to fall back on, you have something financial for yourself to fall back on if anything happens, and you have a brand for yourself to continue after your sport. If you've built your brand to be hardworking, faith-based, X, Y, and Z things, that extends outside of your sport. Once you're done playing, you're still those things and can still create content around those things. And that's the benefits of having a personal brand, because it will follow you through no matter what you do.
100%. 100%.
Awesome.
I can answer this next question. My son is a sophomore in high school. This next year, can he get an NIL this early? So, like we said, it really depends on state by state, because every state has a different compliance. For example, Texas is very strict, but Kentucky isn't. It's one of those things that you would just have to come to us and maybe fill out that AER form. That way we can answer that question based off of your son specifically.
Awesome. So look, I know we're getting it on time, and I think we have some more questions coming in. But let me do this. I want to wrap it up just out of respect of everyone's time. Number one, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. Thank you, Jada. Thank you, Siobhan, for dropping gems tonight. I mean, you guys dropped some bombs tonight. And I hope everyone was listening, paying attention, and understanding that this NIL game, is what I like to call it, starts early. If you are in Texas and you're a sophomore, start building your brand now. Just imagine what it's going to look like when you're ready for NIL, real NIL opportunities. you will be truly ready to start receiving finances for your name, image, and likeness that you've been building for 3 years, right? So never question the idea of, do I start building my brand now? If you ask that, the answer is yes. Just answer it yourself.
You guys
The
can
answer
start
is
building
yes.
your brand yesterday.
Absolutely. Because it's twofold. Building your brand helps you with exposure as well. It's what we teach our athletes. You have to have a social media presence these days in recruiting, and you definitely have to have a social media presence these days to go after NIL deals. And NIL deals are not for just D1 athletes. You guys heard it right here that there's other athletes at different levels getting NIL deals. There's NAIA athletes that are getting NIL deals. So there's an NIL deal for you if you build your brand today, right? So I'm not through throwing some names out. I just ran across one, and we definitely want to spotlight this young lady, and I hope I don't butcher her name. It could happen, right? But Tiana Stewart, who's at Nicholls State. She's from Louisiana. She's going to Nicholls State, so she's going to play right there, close to home. If I'm correct, you are from Louisiana, if I'm correct. So you're playing close to home. But this young lady is a 3-time state champ.
Wow.
We want to talk to her. We want to spotlight her. All right, we want to spotlight her. And not only do we want to spotlight you, Tiana, and I keep saying that name, I hope I'm saying it right. We are going to fast track you as well. So you will be speaking to our one of our NIL reps to start helping you build your brand. Because hey, three-time state champ, you got a fresh start in building your brand with that alone. Sylvester Sims, I just want to make a shout. I hope you're still on. I saw you completed your AER. That's one of our athletes. Sylvester, we'll be linking up real soon with you and start working with you to build your brand for sure. Then we got sisters. I got sisters that we're going to fast track into this system as well, which my reps have heard this name already. But Alani Owens and Anaya Owens are both going to be fast tracked through to build their brand for NIL deals. So with all that being said, I hope tonight opened your eyes. I really hope it opened your eyes, because the truth is most athletes never get access to the kind of information or these relationships or this type of opportunity. We hear about NIL. We hear about people signing NIL deals. We get to see the big money being thrown at big time athletes. There's money for everyone. There's money for you all. So let me leave you with this. Information alone changes absolutely nothing, right? Information alone changes nothing. Action changes everything. Action in recruiting, action in building your brand, action changes everything. Some athletes tonight position themselves, just based off of their AER. They position themselves tonight to get noticed. Some athletes tonight were selected for fast track, for the podcast spotlight consideration, and some follow-ups. And the reason they separated themselves is simple. They moved. They reacted, right? They did something. They didn't just sit back. Now, if you're serious about NIL opportunities and you haven't gotten on the AER, please do. Jump on the AER, let the ladies evaluate your AER and see where you are and have a conversation with you. Now, how many times have you been on a webinar that at the close of it, they've asked you for money? We don't want your money. We want to help you make money. We want to help you make money. All of our Pro 7 sports athletes are going through our brand building process. We want them to make money. You deserve it. You deserve every penny of it. And trust me, athletes who hesitate usually watch opportunities go to somebody else. So if you're serious, take action. Get on the AER, get evaluated, get positioned, and maybe next time your name will be announced live. So thank you again, Jada. Thank you again, Siobhan, for dropping those gems. Hope you guys took notes. I will go through these questions, and I will give a recap email sent out to everyone that was on today to make sure I get those questions answered for you. So everybody enjoy your night. I appreciate you taking time out of your night to jump on this call, And those we've selected, I will be reaching out soon. All right, take care. Peace. All right, so I'm going to close this on out. If I can close this out.